I did a video yesterday while I was outside under the storm clouds about the hardship accommodation plan and confusing communications. But I made a statement in that video about what is SBA going to do with these defaulted loans. We got a wonderful email from one of our viewers, and she said, just so you know, I got my hardship accommodation approved, and 2 days later it changed the status from delinquent to dispersed current. I know that because I've processed over 100 hardship applications for our clients, most recently 3 of them just yesterday. And that's not what I meant, and I want to apologize for not being more specific. What I meant is the 2 following conditions that you should be worried about, concerned about, and that I'm monitoring so that we can come back and give this information in our SBA COVID-19 EIDL guidebook, which if you buy it today, you will get this in the free updates through December of this year. And the 2 things I'm watching is, number 1, okay, so you were at U.S. Treasury and Collections, your loan was in delinquent status, you were in default, and you were behind on your payments, and SBA approves you for hardship. You're approved for 6 months of lower payments, substantially lower payments. But what about all those missed payments that piled up? What's the SBA going to do about that? Because in the lending world where I come from, if you are delinquent and if you have arrears, the bank wants its money. So the SBA is not saying how they're going to collect that additional money that you didn't pay for whatever reason, mostly due to SBA's screwing up the whole repayment program all the way back to 2022. The second issue I'm concerned about with default is this. These loans were delinquent, whether they sent you to Treasury or not, but if you were delinquent and you're now approved for hardship accommodation, again, that's great and we're happy for you. But I believe, and this is based upon certain statements that SBA has made to various sources, including the Wall Street Journal, including a letter to Congress, and some other statements I've seen from the SBA where, like any responsible lender, when someone is late on a payment, even if it's a single payment, that falls into a category of what we call non-performing loan. And no lender anywhere wants to have non-performing loans on their books, which means that even though your loan is in hardship accommodation approval, even though your status on the MySBA portal says dispersed current, does this mean that SBA is treating you as a performing loan? I don't think so. And you should be very concerned about that and worried about it, because I am. And I've been in the lending industry for over 35 years. Be aware that your loan, even though it's in hardship, how are you going to bring those payments current? In our guidebook, we show you how to do the math so that you can come up with the money to bring the loan current on your original full payments that you fell behind with. And number 2, when we learn what SBA is going to do about all these hardship accommodation dispersed current, but really they're in default loans, we'll let you know. For instance, is SBA going to sell these loans to private collection agencies? Because in a letter to Congress, the SBA said they are considering selling part of the portfolio to private collection agencies. In fact, there is one Republican congressman from Texas who is blowing up the phone at SBA, sending nasty letters all the time, demanding that the SBA send your loan to a private collection agency. Yeah, good old politicians who've got the back of small business. I love it. Small business is the backbone of the American economy. But here's the thing. The SBA sent 860,000 loans to the U.S. Treasury for collections. By March, April, the SBA said, oh, we're going to take them back. And I know all of you out there in the world, because we've heard it from our own clients, everybody's breathing a sigh of relief. I'm not in collections anymore. Really? Because that is a strategic failure to think like that. And I say this to you again as a veteran of the mortgage industry and a veteran since 2020 of the COVID-19 EIDL program. You should be very worried. What is SBA going to do? How are you going to bring your loan payments current? What options are they going to offer you? You know, in the lending industry, we call that remediation. You want to help your borrower come current. Where's the plan, SBA? Because a reduced payment, lowering your payment by 90% for 2 consecutive 6-month periods is not a way of bringing your loans current if you owe $10,000, $30,000, $150,000 in arrears. I spoke to somebody the other day on one of our paid consultation calls. He told me he owes $161,000 using the math that I coached him with, that I created for help in our guidebook to help you understand what you are delinquent by and how you can make a plan for yourself, because SBA is not giving you a plan. And then the second thing, again, and I'm repeating it, and I'm hyped up now. I mean, I wasn't hyped up before, but now I'm hyped up. I'm hyped up because is your loan going to get sold to a private collection agency? You should be concerned. I wrote a blog about this very topic. Click on the link in the description to read the blog for more details, and visit us on September 4th here on YouTube for our live question and answer session, 8 p.m. Eastern Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. If you want to send a question in advance, send it to curious@auroraconsulting.biz. But here's the thing. This is the real thing. And I'm not saying this because we're trying to make money. I mean, we're a business like you. We're in business to make money. So yeah, we're trying to make money. That's not why I'm telling you. I'm telling you, you need to buy our SBA COVID-19 EIDL guidebook because all of my expert knowledge is distilled into that as a compendium, as an on-the-shelf reference guide for this loan that you still have decades left to repay it. And we are phasing out our consulting practices. We get people banging down our doors all the time asking for advice. Often they're asking for free advice, and I'm sorry, but I don't come to your restaurant and ask you to give me a free hamburger. We are in the business to provide consulting service for a fee, but we're phasing that out. We're not going to be here when you need us. So buy the guidebook because you get free updates with the guidebook through December of 2024, and all of the knowledge you need to be successful with your COVID-19 EIDL is in that guidebook, including personal guarantee, seizure of assets, SBA liens on your assets, and etc., etc., etc. Click on the link in the description to get your guidebook. We'll see you on September 4th. Read the blog, but you'll be afraid after you read the blog. Be afraid. Be very afraid.